Good evening, I'm Jerry Lyons, and thanks for joining us tonight for News and Views. Tonight we're going to be kicking off a special segment. We have economic indicators where we talk to people in business and various parts of business about how the economy is going from their perspective. And we also speak to people who are in the same family and have the same job, like family traditions. Tonight we're going to start some of that as well leading up to the election. Perspectives is all about you're looking at a candidate for president, Democrat, Republican, Independent, Green Party, whatever. What are your opinions about that? We invite you to answer that as well. Give us a call at 916-624-5333. And since we're talking about politics, Late Bird is a novel that is written by Jason Kraus. Very good read. And it is full of all kinds of political philosophy, which you are going to describe for us in 50 words or less.
In 50 words or less. Yeah. Nice to meet you. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
I think, you know, it's funny, the actual term politician stands for, it's Latin. Poly means the people, and Tician or tick can mean either parasite or to be lied to. And so with that purpose in mind, I've told people I will never be a politician. I don't even like politics. I'm about truth. Regardless of where that truth takes you, you always have to follow the truth. And so when I sat down November after 2012, what I call the re-election of a nightmare, I looked up and said, okay, I can't sit here any longer. America has blessed me. I'm so fortunate. I say it all the time. The greatest home field advantage ever known to man is to be born in the United States of America. So here I am. I've been successful. I've worked hard. I saved my money. What can I do? And so I sat down and said, well, I have a message. I have a voice. Let's get to it. And I sat down and said, okay, what's the best way to do that? Is to write a book. And so I wrote my story and put in very specific systems on how we can correct this. This is the United States. We don't need to wait for somebody out of Washington, D.C. to explain things to us. We know what we're doing. We're the ones creating the jobs. This is the private sector. This is what we do. We compete. So I sat down and wrote my story to explain to people that I'm not just some guy coming out of nowhere. I wrote it as a novel because of the way it ends. And we're here. We're here to take our country back.
Now, this is a live call-in talk show, and we already have a caller.
Excellent.
But I wanted to call her before we get to you. Let me just explain, without giving away any of the surprises or twists and turns of the book. This is about a man by the name of Falcon Sane. It talks about all the experiences he went through. He decides he wants to be a candidate for President of the United States to help people. That's his simple philosophy. Would you say that's
yeah,
about right?
I would say it's about growing up in America. It's based on my life, but the purpose here is to serve. It's to serve, and so whatever capacity that comes in, the best way I can see from a leadership role is to be in the top chair. And so I wrote the book with that purpose of being there and saying, okay, here's how we can fix these things.
Okay. Do you want to talk a little bit further, or can we take our first call?
Oh, we can take the call. That's
all
fine.
right, then that's what we'll do.
Yes.
You are live on News and Views. Thank you for your calling in, and tell us what your question is, please.
Jason Kraus.
Yes.
Hey, Jason, this is Mike O'Brien.
Hello. Hello, Mike O'Brien.
Hey, brother.
Hey, brother. How you doing?
I'm doing fantastic, man. It's like really good to hear your voice.
You too. Actually, if I could jump in real quick, Michael O'Brien's from North Carolina.
Oh.
This individual is a wonderful. I could actually be here all day talking about him, but he would get really embarrassed. He read the book a few months ago and then decided that it spoke to him, and so he started actually purchasing his own books and then giving them away. But okay. I won't take your thunder, my friend.
Are you in the book?
No.
Excuse me?
Are you in the book? Did you recognize yourself in? There's a character named Mike in here.
There is, but it's not. Oh. The floor is yours, brother.
I just wanted to call and lend my support, man. It's like, I'm not trying to, no fanfare here. I just wanted to call and lend my support.
I appreciate that. Again, he's coming from North Carolina. This is an actual employer, and the note that he sent to me was he actually let his employees, he let them off today. So they could actually call in. And
oh, great!
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. So this is what's happening. People across America have read the book and are communicating with me through through Facebook or our website, and they okay, we can do this because we can. This is who we are. This is what we're doing, and it's about individuals. It's not about Democrats, Republicans. We're Americans, but the constitutional republic guarantees the right of the individual. So it's not millions. It's a whole bunch of us coming together at the same time. He's on the East Coast. This is beautiful. I mean, he's on the this is in North Carolina, calling Rockland, California.
I think you are probably, sir, the long distance caller winner of our 15 years on the air here, because I don't think we've ever had anybody from the other coast call.
Well, congratulations, man.
How are things there in the Carolinas?
Just the corn's like knee high, and I mean, like the tobacco's being harvested, and here we are, being Americans.
Absolutely.
Not these hyphenated Americans. You know.
Okay. Thank you very much for calling, sir.
You take care, Jason. It was really cool. I'm glad you got to hear my voice.
Hey,
I've been listening to yours for a year and a half now, man.
I appreciate it, brother. I will be seeing you very, very soon.
You take care, man. If any of my employees call in, man, it's like, post a note.
I will, absolutely. I'll be talking to you shortly. Thanks for calling.
Peace.
Thank you very much, sir. Let me give out your website. The place to go, where you can also order the book, is a leader, not a politician.com. It's all one word.
All one word.
A leader, not a politician.com. So, Jason Kraus, the question is this. You talk about your schematic for leadership, how this young man forges his character through all these experiences he goes through. Disappointment in high school over a girl, his life with sports, his relationship with his family.
Sure.
It's finally his deciding to throw his hat into the ring. And you see as he goes along his philosophy evolve as well as to what he wants to accomplish. So I guess my question is he of any particular political party? Is he a libertarian? Is he Green Party, Republican, Democrat? How would you typify him, or would you not give him a category at all?
No, not at all. Yeah, I'd categorize it.
Okay.
This is called an American. Okay, I'm an American. When you hear people talk about that they're Republicans or that they're worried about the party, you've got to be kidding me here. That's actually we're getting closer to oppression rather than freedom. Now, this is about America, individual. There's no such thing as the constitutional rights of a Democrat. They don't exist. Okay. I love these Republican politicians that run around talking about how we're a democracy. Well, if we're a democracy, why are they calling themselves Republicans? I mean, and we have these people making massive decisions for us that can't even understand simple English. You're a Republican. You should understand we are a constitutional republic. I pledge allegiance to the United States of America.
It's in there.
And to the republic.
I read that one.
I mean, come on. And yet we have people in their 50s and 60s and 70s calling themselves Democrats, referring to us as a democracy. There is nowhere in the Constitution, anywhere, you will find the word democracy.
Right.
Declaration, it doesn't exist. This is something that's been created, just like income tax in the 1900s. We have to free the American individual. Okay, that's what we have to do here. And so we do that by getting rid of income tax. We actually understand through the process of what the human animal is about, what our needs are: water, food, shelter.
Okay. Do you want to go to
another call? Sure.
Yes. You want to go to another one?
Sure.
Okay. Very good. Hi, you are live on News and Views. Are you also from one of the Carolinas?
I'm from Kentucky.
Oh, Kentucky.
Okay, all right.
Very good. Another state heard from. Good show. How are you, ma'am?
I'm fine.
And we need your name, if you would.
I'm Betty Knight.
Oh.
Do you know Betty?
Hello, Betty. Yes, Betty.
Hello, Jason.
Yes. Betty is fantastic. I'm probably going to make just a personal trip to Kentucky just to meet Betty.
Very good.
That sounds wonderful.
Yes. Actually, you know, my grandfather was actually from Paducah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't live very far from there.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to work that. He's not with us anymore, but I'll come see you.
Oh, sounds great.
Absolutely.
How did you meet?
She read the book.
Oh, you read the book. Okay.
Yeah.
I read the book. Actually, I got a free book, and I was intrigued by the cover and the title, and I read the book, and after reading it, I thought, wow, we need somebody like this to be our president, not realizing that Jason was running to be our leader for America and to work with us and help get our America back and our freedom back. And I think he's awesome, and I just think he's a gift from God to help us to achieve that purpose.
Are you going to run for president?
Well, that's going to be up to, I say it all the time, that's going to be up to the big fella upstairs and the American voter. Right now, I need, and by the way, thank you very much, Betty. That was wonderful. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
You humble me, sister. I need name recognition. All right. I mean, that's what for someone to vote for president for me, they need to actually know who Jason Kraus is. They need to at least heard of him. And so that's what we're doing right now. That's why on these types of things, thank you very much for having me. And we're able to get the word out. And so as you can see, North Carolina, Kentucky, I mean, we're in California. We're getting calls from all over the country. So the word is going out. So it's not really up to me. I've said it before. I'll say it again. I am here to serve. I will do it ferociously. I will do it humbly. But I'm here to serve America. We have difficult decisions that have to be made. I've thought about the position of president and actually being there. Anybody who actively wants to be the president of the United States should never be president of the United States. You shouldn't want that job. Okay, nobody should want it. It should be much stronger than that. It has to be about duty. It has to be something you say, okay, look, because there's going to be unbelievable decisions that an individual human isn't going to want to make. You're just not going to want to do it, but you're going to have to.
Let me ask your guest. Did you have any follow-up question, ma'am, or comment?
Just that I think if he does get to the point of being in the White House as our leader, that America has a chance, and without him and without God, we don't have a chance at all.
That's a very nice compliment.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Betty.
Thank you.
I'll talk to you later.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Very good.
She's great.
Okay.
All of them are great. There's thousands of them all over America.
Once again, the website to go to is aleadernotapolitician.com, and on that website you will see various interviews that Jason Kraus has made with a variety of interviewees about your political philosophy. You've also posted, you have a blog on there as well, I believe.
I write columns every week.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. President of the United States, probably one of the few jobs in the world. No job can prepare you for it. You get on-the-job training. In fact, every single person who has run for president has never been a president before unless they're doing their second term or it's a bridge like was it President Cleveland, I believe. Arthur Cleveland, Harrison Cleveland, yeah. Okay, so I learned the presidents. And I leave a few
Drover,
out.
yeah.
The ones I don't.
Oh, well, that makes sense. Can't cover them all.
So the point is, are we a little bit too tough on the President of the United States? I mean, after all, he's got a massive staff and cabinet members to do things for him and thousands of people in the federal government to look over 1,000,001 little decisions before they come to his desk, but he has to take the responsibility, maybe even for bad decisions somebody underneath him makes.
First of all, we shouldn't have millions of decisions. Government's too big. The federal government, we know this as a human animal, that the groups, you get beyond a group of about 75 people, that's why private companies actually will break up into other locations, because they're not getting what they need out of each. You can't keep having all these massive amount of humans just kind of hanging around. The potential isn't fulfilled to all these people. We are individuals. We will always be individuals. So the federal government's out of control. I mean, for any person, whether it's Clinton, Bush, or Obama, to sit up there and actually complain that it's a tough job, you begged for it. You ran around. You begged for it. You begged money. You spent hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars, begging for the job, pleading. You told lies about other people. You said horrendous. You basically, these are in my opinion, these are soulless people, because if they really wanted to serve America, they would only do it for one term. One term. But it's about power to them. So all of a sudden they're elected with all these wonderful grants, and none of these people ever get elected because they're doing a good job in another arena. They're getting elected because we actually abhor the person that's in there right now. So we're just switching parties back and forth. All right? But people talk about Barack Obama and his hope and change. The reality of what it is, and this is why Hillary Clinton gets so upset, because whoever the Democratic nominee was going to be, they were going to win. Because George Bush, the country had enough. So they could have thrown out anybody. The Democrats were going to win, and then we all know it. So that's why, again, Hillary Clinton was so upset. So Obama comes in on hope and change, and I mean, it's utterly absurd what is going on right now. He called George Bush unpatriotic when Bush took the debt from 8 to 10 trillion, or actually took it up into that range. He's 100% correct. He was right. Actually, in my opinion, it's treasonous. You're crushing us with debt. You don't care about the future generations. Then Obama took it almost to 19 trillion. That's where we are right now. So if Bush is unpatriotic at 8, and we're now at almost 19 trillion, and they're going to do it again, what does that make Obama? These people are hypocrites and liars, and they stand at the bully pulpit and literally lie to us. We know this now. So nobody trusts government anymore, and they shouldn't. You lie to me once, You know, shame on you. You lied to me twice. I'm an idiot for ever asking you a second question. What do I care what you think? And we don't. You look at the things, the debate, the Republican debate put up there, they had 8 politicians and 2 Americans. And it was an interesting thing to watch.
Who were the 2 Americans?
Ben Carson and Donald Trump.
Okay.
These were private sector guys.
Well, now that we're drifting into the perspectives part of the program,
Sure.
What did Dr. Carlson and what did the Donald say that makes you call them Americans?
Well, it didn't really matter. They weren't up there. When they were asked the question, they answered it honestly. You could tell whatever the question was, it came to them, and they gave an honest answer. Whereas the other 8 politicians up there were giving an answer that had been fed to them, or here's what you're going to do for votes. You could tell they were so uncomfortable. When Trump was actually answering his questions, I mean, he didn't answer them exceptionally well, but you could see the passion coming. Right. And when Ben Carson answered his questions, he was very methodical. He thought about it. His tone. I mean, 2 different 2 points of view or speaking manners. But I can appreciate both of them because they thought about the question.
Yeah.
It wasn't just, okay, well, I get more votes for this. You got another one?
We do. But
Okay.
before we go to that, I want to ask you a question that a lot of people have been responding to on various talk shows, etc. Did the Donald hurt himself by coming across a little bit egotistical when he was asked about his bankruptcy deals in which he walked away from a bad deal, and he says words to the effect, I did what a lot of other people, famous people do, who you all know but nobody ever reports about, who backed away from a bad deal, and I took advantage of the system as it's set up in order to
Sure.
do that. Some people looked at that and said, well, wait a minute now. If you're just going to be a loser.
People, look, you got the one thing about Donald Trump is he'll tell you the truth, whether you like his answer or not.
He'll tell you his truth.
Well, he's giving. I mean, people can go back. Did he declare bankruptcy? And understanding. And I'm certainly not here to defend him. I'm here.
I know.
To talk about what we're doing. With that said, Trump is very, very simple. He's talking about the 2 specific things that I've been talking about now for almost 2 years: the debt and the border. Okay, we have to free the people. We have to get rid of income tax. It's the only way the debt's going to get paid, and free the American worker. We have to close the border. We're having our citizens murdered and raped almost on a daily basis
Right.
here in America. Those are the ones that's being reported. We know these things are happening. We're doing nothing about it. California, right here, just passed new laws. Now, if you're here illegally, you get a license. Now they're going to let you sign up for California Care, which is California's version of Obamacare.
Mm-hmm.
That's supposed to be against the law. Obamacare. Nobody illegally is supposed to be able to sign up for that. So we have passed law enforcement. There is no justice anymore. Okay, we're sitting here with very, very wealthy corporations. You're sitting with people who are on food stamps, on food stamps, and then you're sitting with the rest of us in the middle, trying to fight over what is happening to our dollar, to our schools, to our communities. I mean, I could be here for a while going through this, but it's criminal what's happening, and we know it. Mm-hmm. We're not questioning. We're not saying, well, we're not sure. We know. We know. That's why I'm here.
Okay. Oh, we don't have the caller anymore? Oh, well, I'm sorry, caller. Call back if you can hear me. But if
yes, please.
That person's in another state, they obviously can't, unless they happen to be Kreskin or someone else.
Maybe they're calling out of Florida.
If you were to run for president, you'd be an independent candidate then?
They're technically, and this is where a few things that I actually learned. Oh, they're back.
Here we go. Let's grab them before they disappear.
And they're gone.
Sugar. Whoops. Wait. I grabbed it first. That's no good, right? Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I'm supposed to let Rob grab it first.
I know you did. Hi, Jerry.
Oh, it's Jeff Greenberg. How you doing? Thanks.
Hi,
Rob.
buddy.
Sorry.
How you doing?
All right. Did you hear the program so far?
Yes, I have been absolutely enthralled with what I'm hearing. I think it's yes, I did, Jerry, and I'm really. It's a great.
You're cutting out, Jeff.
Did we lose him?
Hello.
Yeah, you're cutting out. Go ahead. Just
okay.
Don't move around too much. Stay in the area where you are.
Okay, I'll stay in Lincoln. I won't move to Rockland or Roseville.
Okay. Go right ahead, sir.
Anyway, it's been a great program. I love what this guy's saying, but I have to agree on all cases. All these guys pontificate up in the Senate and Congress They take all the benefits. They get the inside information for trading on the market. And what do we get? We get nothing. I mean, we get the raw end of every deal that comes about. Medicare's in trouble. They keep talking about Social Security that they're going to cut out. You know, enough is enough with these guys. I mean, you know, sometimes I wonder who they listen to when they make some of these speeches. I watched the debate the other night.
Okay.
I'm not going to tell you that I think Donald Trump is the guy to lead the country, but why people like him is because he's saying what they want. Just like you said, he's saying what they want to hear. Mm-hmm. Everybody else skirts around it. Okay? I thought the questions were loaded against him. That's just my feeling. I mean, you know, why did they ask anybody else if they were going to, if they lost, would they go independent? And why did they ask him about this? The bankruptcy thing? I think it's great.
You mind if I jump in?
He told it like it was.
Hey, Jim.
I mean, it is. That's a law, and it's there for people to do if they need it. So, I mean, I don't know what the heck all the craziness is about, but I like this guy, and I'm going to keep watching until the TV goes off.
There's a question for you.
No, I was just actually, I agree 100%. You nailed a couple of things that most people are slowly starting to pay attention to. Obama actually came out last year when they were fighting over the debt ceiling and specifically said, and you can see it's actually on tape, that if the debt ceiling isn't raised, that people will not receive their Social Security checks and the military will not get paid. Now, he said this. This is not me saying it. So
right.
We need to now part of that's true, part of it isn't, but he was trying to scare people to raise the debt ceiling. There's going to come a time when you can't raise the debt ceiling anymore. So Obama's words will come back and say, okay, well now we're not going to pay the military. People aren't going to get their Social Security. They paid into these things. People need to understand we're in trouble, okay? And unless you are a millionaire or a billionaire, which I am not, we have to take care. We have to change the systems. Humans are always going to have pluses and minuses, but we have to take advantage of the actual pluses. We have to remove income tax. We have to get rid of all forms of income tax. It'll actually probably quadruple the wealth of our nation just in the land alone. But you get rid of corporate tax, you get rid of all these taxes, you free the people. You put in the consumption tax, and you allow them to make a choice. If they don't want to buy something, they don't have to pay taxes. Mm-hmm. It is that simple. And so we allow this to really get going. America wants to work. We need to work. I said this before. We're not French. All right? We believe in hard work. We believe in getting up every morning. I mean, the 12-hour days, we brag about it. It's who we are. It's ingrained in us. And so we've gotten away from that.
I think we should apologize to the members of our audience who are of French ancestry by meaning them as lazy people.
I've been to France. Parlez-vous français?
He didn't mean it that way, folks.
There's a laissez-faire about France.
We regret that.
I've actually been to France twice.
I've been to France as well.
Yeah, it's.
I've been to France too, and I was actually treated very nicely, so I can understand what you're saying. But jokingly, but you know, the first thing they do to threaten us and to scare us is they're going to take away our Social Security, right. And then the guys and girls who are over there risking their lives, okay, with a people, and that's not all of them. So I want to get into a Donald Trump syndrome with saying that all Afghanis or Iraqis are all bad people. But there's enough of those nutcases out there who don't care if they die, and I don't know if they realize anymore that those virgins are not there. They're gone. They're a bunch of old maids up there, and they're not going to get what they want. The whole thing is stupid.
Okay, yep.
Okay.
All right, so anyway, that's all I have to say. Jerry, I'm enjoying your guest. Amazing. He's an amazing guest.
Good.
And it's always good to hear from you, my friend. So I'm going to say goodbye and listen.
Now, don't be surprised if I send you an invitation to come on and be a member of Perspectives, where we talk about candidates, because of your family's great relationship in the past with Speaker of the House Tip O'Neill and your affiliation with Democrats in the Boston area. We want to have you on to talk about your opinions about these candidates too. So look for that invitation in your email box, and hope you can come on. And
come join me at A Leader Not a Politician. That's why I'm here.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Jerry.
Okay, we have about another 13 minutes or so. Let's, with your permission, let's go over some quotes of leadership.
Okay.
That's what this book, Late Bird, is all about.
Correct.
And we're also going to have to explain to the people what the title is all about, unless you'd rather leave that as a surprise.
No, we can explain. It's actually, it's based in, well, which one would you like to do first?
Go ahead and explain.
Okay, Late Bird, actually, when I was a kid, I grew up in Southern California for a period of time. And so when I went to school, they actually did testing, which is fine, because we need to know who needs more help and less help and things of that nature. But when we got in there, they did the testing. They decided to label us. And so people that grow up in Southern California, and I've had people actually say this to me, they called us, if you tested well, you were called a late bird. and you came to school a little bit later than the other kids, and then when you did come to school, they just push you out into the playground where you play, which is fine with me. But if you didn't do well, you were labeled an early bird.
Yeah.
And so immediately the pecking order changed, whether it be by adults labeling children. When the kids got out into things changed, and so it caused a lot of problems. The word back then, when I was a child, that was used to explain the quote unquote dumb kids was retard. And so the labeling, I cannot stand labels. The only labels that I hang with was, my name's Jason, so it's easy to understand. I'm an American. The rest of it I don't care about. And so by adults labeling children, it actually slows the process of their growth, and it causes them to, the children, because children are rough at times, and so it gives somebody else to bait somebody else and to go hurt other people, and that's what ended up happening. So I wanted to make sure that message got across, that I was a late bird, and then fit with Falcon very well.
You took psychology. You majored in psychology at college.
I did.
I don't recall if it was Piaget, the child psychologist, who basically said you had to be very careful on how you treated children, because as they're growing up, they absorb everything in their environment that's said or done to them as part of their identity. That's where they take their identification from. I don't know if it was Piaget, but I know it was somebody who was involved.
Actually, I would most psychologists, whether Skinner or Freud or whatever, went right back to that 0 to 5 age.
Okay.
That we are sponges. We pick up language. We pick up everything so much.
Right.
And so in that process, most children are learning, because we're learning so quickly. Children are, and so if you're giving them positives, if you're giving them wonderful things,
right,
then they will pick those up. If you're abusing them, well, they pick that up too. It's not the sponge only works one way.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we have to, as a society, I remember being in class one time, and people were talking about child abuse, and they were trying to explain how it was certain punishments for certain crimes. And so this crime got this many years, and it was a psych class, and I raised my hand and I said, there is no justice for harming of a child. That child's never going to be whole again. If somebody out there hurts a child, abuses a child, murders a child, and I dealt with that when I was a sheriff's deputy, one guy in particular, that child's never going to be what they could have been, and so children are counting on us to protect them, to defend them, and our society has gotten away from that dramatically. So anyway, I don't want to get off subject, but
no,
these things are important to me, and it's important as adults, especially of my generation. We're starting to come into the time frame where people are going to be put in positions to make very important decisions that are going to affect change, one way or the other. And we really have to have people from all walks of life coming out, from the entrepreneurs and the coaches and the teachers and the police and fire. We don't need any more attorneys and bankers, okay? And we need people that are going to step into the fray for one term. You can't ask someone to go out there and spend their entire life dealing with this stuff. And the people that are willing to do that, we don't want them there. And so this is our time. That's why I'm here right now. I say it all the time, shoulder to shoulder. But my personality, I'm comfortable out front. I can't stand in the back. It's just not who I am. But you get enough people, here we go, shoulder to shoulder, and we go forward, and we change what's happening in America. That's what America's about, individual greatness.
Let's talk about leadership.
Okay.
For my source, and I got to name my source, I went to LinkedIn. Okay. LinkedIn.com is a great resource for business people. I'm on LinkedIn. A lot of our folks who work here on WAVE are on LinkedIn. It's got some very fine articles.
That's a good
free.
Commercial.
Well, it's free, so
yeah.
I don't
Sure.
get any compensation for it.
Right.
They had a great article about what makes a leader. They gave a series of quotes from people, famous leaders throughout history, mostly American history. John Quincy Adams, himself president and son of John Adams, another president. His idea was, if your actions inspire others to dream more, learn more, do more, and become more, you are a leader. Agree or disagree?
Oh, amen. That is the definition of in my opinion, leader is we want a positive connotation with leader, because there's plenty of people out there have been leaders in history that are horrible people. So I agree 100%. The purpose of, if you're serving others, because of your life, others are benefiting from that. Okay, then you would be a leader. You would be important. You'd be somebody that people want to be around. So absolutely, absolutely.
I'm going to throw in a personal one. I had a teacher by the name of Thane Walker. His definition of a leader is a person who shows other people how to get what they want.
Okay, well, that's why we have the freedom of speech in this country. People can do and say the things that they want to. I wouldn't define it that way.
Okay.
That's not the way. For me, leadership is not about getting what you want. It's how are you of service to others.
Okay.
That's leadership.
All right. Let's go. I had one from Bill Gates. Oh. Peter Drucker. The only definition of a leader is someone who has followers.
Okay, and factually, that would be accurate.
Yeah, but it doesn't tell us.
Well, if we're going strictly on if we're going Webster, then he's correct.
I think, Warren, I think you sidestepped the question there.
This is what I would say about leadership. At a bare minimum, you need to be a leader of one.
Yourself.
Okay. Absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely, and it doesn't matter. This is my opinion, and things I've studied, but things also life in general, is that the human animal is broken up into leaders and followers. It's just what we're more comfortable with. And if you're going to put a percentage, we'll say there's 90% of the population is more comfortable following, and 10% are more comfortable leading. Now, in that 10%, you're going to have good and bad people. You're going to have people that are trying to get people to do things for their own benefit rather than them. And so, but the 90% always have to be, at a minimum, a leader of one. They have to be able to be willing to look in the mirror and go, okay, this is a good decision for me, or it's not. And intrinsically, they will do that. We all know that water, food, shelter. We don't have to be taught these things. If you're really at any age, but you don't get enough water, your body will beg for it. I mean, of course, if you're a newborn baby, someone will supply it for you. But once you get to a certain point where you can get those things, you will supply it yourself. And if you don't get it after 72 hours, you start hurting on the water. Food's
Right.
the same thing. Shelter's the same thing. But in America, we have that basically figured out for the most part. So the most important need beyond those things is the need to belong. And it's so powerful. And we don't talk about this. We talk about how we're going to put a Band-Aid on this or fix that. We're very reactive. We're not proactive in an understanding. And our need to belong is so important. It drives people to do horrendous things like join gangs or become Republicans or Democrats.
Okay.
Rather than Americans.
I'm going to give you one more because we've got about 5 minutes left, and I want to give you some time for summation.
Sure.
Bill Gates. As we look ahead into the next century, leaders will be those who empower others.
Okay, now I'm not a huge Bill Gates fan, to be honest with you.
Okay.
But and empower isn't the correct verbiage. However, what he was probably saying there, I could probably agree with.
Okay. Well, that's just that we want to find out more about your philosophy based upon what you differ with other.
Well, yeah, I'm not a huge Bill Gates fan. I'm not a huge Bill Gates fan, I'll put it that way.
John Maxwell, leadership is influence, nothing more, nothing less.
It kind of goes back to leader. To
Okay.
be a leader, you have followers. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you seem to involve elements that I think are very valuable. It has to be truthful. You have to be wanting to be of service to others. You have to be honest with yourself. And you have to be decisive. You have to decide a course of action.
Absolutely.
After
Inspire.
contemplating it.
And you need to inspire. If you're able to inspire other people through your actions, then everything will go in the direction it needs to be. Of course, that's what leadership is all about setting a path and then getting there. In this particular instance, America isn't screaming for someone to tell them what to do. What they're screaming for is that people stop telling them what to do. Stop hitting us so hard with all these things that we have to have. We know what we're doing here. This is the greatest country in the history of man. We set up the First Amendment's in place, specifically first, because it's the most important. We don't need the federal government. We simply don't, and we're tired of it. This whole lovely 25-year process of, for lack of a better term, and I cannot stand labels, but liberalism has been a nightmare. How do we know this? 18 trillion in debt, 47 million people on food stamps. I don't need to say anything else. Okay, these things aren't working because it's unsustainable. You need systems that will be sustained, and we know this is an effect. Paul Krugman came out. I'm laughing because it's utterly ridiculous what he said. This is a man who was given the Nobel Prize for economics. He said that to take care of our debt, we could mint $18 trillion coins. Mm-hmm. $1 trillion coin, mint 18 of them, and pay ourselves off.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or you can do it in cardboard.
Okay.
Same
I mean,
thing.
what's the point? Just move the decimal and call it a day. I mean, this is somebody who the New York Times puts out as an actual serious mind. This
Yeah.
is absurd. Okay.
Yeah.
It's like the Nobel Prize giving Obama the Nobel Peace Prize. I mean, they give one in economics to a guy that's talking about minting coins to pay off debt.
Yeah.
And another guy that actually actively wants to bomb Syria.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, stop calling it Nobel. Just call it no clue and get on with it. I mean, it's utterly ridiculous.
No clue.
And this is who's quote unquote leading us. But we know this is garbage.
Yeah.
We know that's why we're here, and that's why it's resonating in Kentucky and North Carolina and Florida and different places. And Oklahoma. God bless Oklahoma. I was just there last week. Great people there.
I've never been there, but I understand it is a very, very good place. I've been to Kansas, and I understand that people in the center of the country have very different views from most people on either side of the coast.
They want to be free.
Yeah.
They don't want people telling them what. We're not very. I don't think we're actually that different from state to state to state. Nobody wants anybody telling them what to do. It's that simple. It's that simple.
Late Bird is the name of the book. Jason Kraus, a very good read. I know. I've been there, done that, and you will get a chance to see. We got to give your nephew a plug. Yeah, Jason's nephew is on here with his face made up.
Actually, we'll give him a plug. He just graduated from Chico State,
Okay.
and with a business degree.
Congratulations!
And he's actually employed down in the Bay Area right now for a Fortune 500 company.
Does he have a couple of these books so he can show people, hey, this is me?
You know, he probably does. I don't know. He just goes to the website. He look at his own picture.
Okay.
You know, that was actually a neat thing. Are we running out of time?
Almost, but go ahead.
Well,
Finish your thought.
it was 4th of July. And,
Okay.
and he had come home. He's about I think 5 or 6 here, and he had actually come home and he was talking to my mom, and he asked her. He said that they were having a parade for 4th of July, and so he wanted to go. He said he wanted to go as Old Glowy.
Oh, okay.
And so she painted his face, and the picture was captured.
Great.
I don't know, 15 years ago.
Very good. Well, tell him we said hi. Congratulations.
I will.
That's great. The website is aleadernotapolitician.com. Go there. You'll find some very interesting works by our guest, Jason Kraus. Thank you so much for being here.
It was my pleasure.
Appreciate you being here. And you're also going to be having a documentary out. We're hosting 2 of his photographers who are putting together a documentary. When is this documentary going to be seen on a website near us or on a disc near us?
It's actually kind of like the book. People keep asking, are you running for president? We'll see how this unfolds.
Okay.
So
maybe we'll ask you to come back.
Oh, that'd be great.
Especially if you win for president.
Yeah.
Don't forget where you got your start, man.
Right.
I know where you live.
That's right.
And he knows where I live.
Oh, my goodness. Beautiful. No, I really appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
You're very welcome. Enjoyed it very much.
I did too.
We're going to take a break. When we come back, Michelle Coleman is going to be here. She's the executive director of Stand Up Placer. We're going to tell you about a special event coming up, a 5 and 10K run. You'll be able to help some people who are in need in our community if you participate. We're looking for sponsors, participants, etc. I'll let Michelle do the talking. We'll be right back.